right. All righty. You are looking like it's sold out MetLife Stadium today. The 16-0 playoff bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Las Vegas Raiders. And why are the Las Vegas Raiders 0-16? Because they suck. They ain't won a Super Bowl since after the 83 season. They ain't won a Super Bowl in over 40 years. They were the Oakland Raiders, the Los Angeles Raiders, the Oakland Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders. Where the you play at? You ain't won a Super Bowl in 40 years. Guess what? You suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all? Gonna spend a little bit of time with me here this evening. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. But if anybody's gonna spend any time watching the replays, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. I'm gonna try to go about 30 minutes here tonight, shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say? Please feel free. Fire away, throw it in the chat box. Usually try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free. Fire away, but plus also, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever it might wind up being, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free and fire away. Before we get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, my buddy Randy's here. Very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon, the second one's called the Lawrence Taylor, and the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me, and I thank you in advance. If you're subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge, right? But what do you got to lose, right? But if you're subscribed to my channel, thank you. And maybe if you give this video a thumbs up or share it, that'd be freaking awesome. And then finally, also, just a little ways down in the description box, there's 2 links, right? Top one's a Facebook link, which I'll go over in just a second. The one underneath it, I'm an old-time fart. I can't stand change, right? I'm one of them, get off my lawn type of old farts, right? Can't stand change. Like everything just kind of the way it was, right? It's a Twitter link, right? It's always been Twitter to me. It'll always be Twitter. Whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants to call it, that's on you, bro. I'm not calling it that. It's Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back. That's an absolute promise. I put Giants-related stuff in there every day, right? And then the link on top of it takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 8,100 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. And not only do I put stuff in this group, but members post stuff in this group as well, too. So between me and the members, there's a boatload of New York Giants information going in this group every day. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise, right? All that stuff said and done that away with. Well, I'm going to, I got something. The one thing I like is that you kind of take a lot of the other stuff out of your hands and all that. So I got myself I guess the last thing I'll be talking about would be a little mock draft I did with PFF. It makes it so nice and simple. You put the parameters in there. Basically, a lot of what I did with the parameters was like based on teams' needs. You know what I mean? Not what Mel Kiper Jr. thinks about that the Colts should do and this should do or that. Basically based on teams' needs, right? And so I did like a little 3-round mock draft, and actually turned out pretty well. But one of the guys I picked in my 3-round mock draft has something to kind of, in a way, we'll say, also has something to do with who we're talking about first here. Coach Gene Clemens, Mean Gene Clemens. He he does good, bad, and the ugly with a lot of guys and all that. So he did like a little story. Okay, he talks with Patty Trainer. I'm not sure if let me see. Let me get this here. Nope. Off-season schedule. Nope. Hold on there. I got it here somewhere. Nope. Oh boy. Oh, there we go. Oh wait. Let's see here. If I can. Oh, there you go. Okay. Giants country. It's got a coach. He is a coach. I'm not sure what he's a coach of. High school coach or exactly what it is, but this is Coach Gene Clemens, and what he'll do is he does kind of like breaks down certain guys, like maybe the Giants get a new offensive lineman or whatever it is. So in this case, it's Drew Lock. And he does the good, the great, and the ugly. I put the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever it was, but it's all pretty much about the same, right? So he breaks down kind of like Drew Lock, some of his game, some of the things we have to look forward to, and maybe some of the things maybe we don't have to look forward to. But got former New York Giants quarterback Tyrod Taylor spent 2 seasons as the team's primary backup signal caller, and now he's with the Now, I tell you what, they got themselves a nice, like, dynamic duo. Although, I'll tell you what, between Aaron Rodgers and Tyrod Taylor, we're talking like they're between the two of them. There's like 75, 76, 77, whatever they are, years in age between the two of them. So they got a lot of guys. They got 2 guys got a lot of experience. Okay, not sure if they'll both be able to stay healthy. Okay, but I mean, good for Tyrod. He went to another place and he's making some decent money. So good for him. But meanwhile, the Giants filled their backup quarterback role with Drew Lock, most recently from Seattle and previously with Denver. The latter, where there was hope he developed into the Broncos' long-term franchise quarterback, but that just not seemed to turn out to be. It didn't happen for Lock, who also lost the starting quarterback competition in Seattle to Geno Smith. But there is much to like in the 27-year-old's game. He has been a starter and functioned as a backup. So he could fill in for the Giants' incumbent Daniel Jones if Daniel Jones is not ready to go at the beginning of the season. Overall, Lock has starter traits, but also exhibits issues that can lose games, which is not exactly good. Regardless, he could be a valuable backup for the Giants. Now, let's not forget. I mean, last season, obviously, also this was, as the Eagles were, nose diving into the depths of the abyss, which I absolutely love, right? Drew Lock was the quarterback for the Seahawks when the Eagles and the Seahawks played one another toward the end of the season, and Drew Lock, it was a come from behind victory, right? I mean, he didn't put up like 80 points or not like that, but he did enough to win the ball game, right? And they beat the Eagles, which gave me so much pleasure. You have no idea, so much pleasure. But he can win your ball games, right? He can win your ball games. However, you also have to look at it too. Is like with the 3 wide receivers he has to throw the ball to as well. So there are 3 wide receivers that he's throwing the ball to in Seattle. Trump the wide receivers that as of right now that the Giants have in New Jersey, right? But let's see here. There we go. So let's look at the good, the great, and the ugly of the former Missouri quarterback. The good, ability to escape. Lock has a lot more athletic traits than he gets credit for. During the combine, his 7.03 second 3-cone drill and his 4.12 second 20-yard shuttle showed his ability to change direction quickly. That is great when he needs to escape the pocket, and he can escape the pocket whenever he is pressured. There's a video here. All right. He is much more effective when scrambling to his right and decently effective when escaping up the middle. What you like about his scrambling is that it is rarely done to run, but rather to buy time and find an open receiver, which is cool. You like that, somebody who has, especially somebody who has that pocket presence. That's huge, absolutely huge. Sometimes sometimes you kind of wonder. I mean, if you're like looking at Daniel Jones, sometimes he's in the pocket, and I don't know. He's just so focused down the field sometimes, right? He just kind of like, and then he gets like waffled by somebody. It's like, dude, sometimes he just doesn't. Daniel Jones it's like, dude, you realize there's a guy about ready to kill you. Sometimes his presence just does not seem, Daniel Jones I'm talking about is a little questionable, Great. The arm strength and accuracy. That's one thing he certainly does have. Right? There is no denying that Locke throws a very nice football. Two things that you notice often from him are when he is confident in where the ball is supposed to go. The first is that the ball gets to its destination quickly. And the second is that it's delivered to an area that keeps the receiver safe or gives him the chance to move after the catch, which is freaking huge. I mean, you got a guy running over the middle, right? If you can hit the guy in stride and he keeps running, boy, we're yakking it real good. But when the guy's got 5 yards on anybody, there might not be a defender within 300 yards of him. He's streaking across the middle. Hey, hit me, and the ball gets thrown at his kneecaps, and he's got to dive backwards to barely make a catch. Now he's laying on the ground. The defender runs up and tags him. I mean, that's not what you want. You hit the guy in stride so he can catch it in stride and just keep running. When he's on, short passes and screens look like long handoffs. Longer intermediate throws do not hang in the air. He can easily drive the ball and place them all in an advantageous position for the receiver. The throws he makes are why so many GMs have wanted him over the years. This set of plays illustrates just how accurate he can be when he is in rhythm. So there's a bunch of throws here, especially, I guess, against the 49ers here. But the ugly, big play decision-making. There's so much to like about Locke. The athleticism and arm talent are a couple of major reasons to like him. But the turnoff for most when they evaluate quarterbacks is usually related to turnovers. Locke can get in trouble when he only relies on his pre-snap reads, which is, that's not exactly, not good. Which usually results in taking a shot down the field. Right. On those big plays, he almost trusts his arm and his receivers too much and unnecessarily puts the ball in jeopardy. Turnovers like that tend to be morale killers and sucks all the oxygen out of the offense. For some quarterbacks, this is simply who they are at their core. They are risk takers, and although they may be able to suppress them from some time, their true nature will inevitably emerge. Sometimes it is to the offense's advantage, but often it ends poorly. The coach's carousel. Locke must be prepared as if he will be the week 1 starter as of right now. Oh, absolutely, because you don't know if Daniel Jones week 1 will be able to put a uniform on. He'll be able to, walk and talk and chew gum. He'll be able to throw passes. He can call plays. He can do everything. You don't know, will he be able to perform running, moving, and all that at a level, not only to keep the Giants, successful, score some points, but also be able to keep himself safe. That you don't know. So Drew Lock, he better be ready. Absolutely. For week 1. Absolutely. You need to sell Locke that this year could be the difference between becoming a career backup or receiving one more shot to run the show. That appears to be what the Giants did, as Locke admitted during his introductory video conference call. And this is how they will be able to pull the best from Locke, which is true. It's like, hey, there's a good chance, unfortunately, you don't want it to be like that, but there's a good chance either Daniel Jones may not be ready to start the season, right? It's quite possible. Or, I hate saying this either, He might get injured during the season, which happens to him a lot, or hopefully not. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. But if things start going south really bad, or if his leg, or just say his leg, it's not. It is healed, but he can't move as well. And say maybe he gets injured again, or he just doesn't look the same, or whatever. He gets pulled or whatever. Lock gets put back in there. But you also got to look at it too. It's a very good opportunity for Drew Lock, and if you get the quarterback whisperer Dable in there, right, and he changes a few things around with Lock, he's got the arm strength and the talent and all that and everything, right? And if he can maybe, look what Daniel Jones did 2 years ago, 5 interceptions. Wasn't like that last year, but 2 seasons ago, 5 interceptions. If he can start doing stuff like that with Lock, who knows? Maybe this is the Lock's chance. Maybe. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But as what Coach Gene Clemens was saying, this is going to be your third team, and it's going to be your third team in a row where you're pretty much kind of like a backup. That wasn't so much with Denver, but he didn't stay the starter, right? Couldn't beat out Geno Smith. Now, if he's here and he can't beat out Daniel Jones, it's like, well, I guess you're a career backup. That doesn't mean his career's over with. Even the Giants don't re-sign him after this season. It doesn't mean, well, I guess his career's over with. He better retire. No, he'll probably wind up on another team, 1-year deal or whatever like that. Maybe as a backup, maybe possibility of maybe competing for the starting job. But, if you can't beat out Geno Smith or Daniel Jones or whatever, for a starting job, things aren't looking too good as far as you being a starter, down the road. But once again, he's getting another chance, getting another bite at the apple, and that's all he can ask for. But there's talent there. There's talent there without question. Right? He's won some ball games. He's also lost some ball games too. So we'll have to wait and see. It's always you always get excited about seeing another quarterback on the field. See what he can do, what he can't do, right? Especially if we do grab a wide receiver in the first round, right? Really help bolster that receiving group, right? So, all right, now we get time to talk about a little bit of safeties here, right? Could the NFL free agent market still bring a veteran safety to the New York Giants? Well, let's see here. I got a couple articles here to talk about safeties. As attention has turned to pro days, the 2024 NFL draft, and the attention being paid by the New York Giants, free agency has been all but forgotten about. Pretty much. The major work of free agency was, as usual, over almost as soon as free agency began more than 2 weeks ago. Still, there are lots of useful players looking for jobs, and when it comes to the Giants, holes to fill. Yep. One of those remains at safety, where the Giants lost Xavier McKinney. In looking at work each team still has to do this offseason, Bill Barnwell of ESPN identified safety as a position the Giants could still look to target in free agency. Now, there are some, definitely, without question, as we're going to go over, definitely there are some, veteran safeties out there, without question. The thing is that, how much, right? Giants might feel good about Jason Pinnock's future, and Dane Belton showed his promise with a 3 takeaway game late in the season. But I would be surprised if they didn't take advantage of the market and at least add one veteran safety. They got Justin Simmons, Quandre Diggs, Marcus May, Deshaun Gibson, and Julian Blackmon are all free agents, and the Giants have arguably the weakest pair of starting safeties on paper. Yeah, that's true. Adding one of those guys on a 1-year deal would bring a veteran into the defensive backs room and help the team that is otherwise set to run out a very young secondary, especially if they were to draft somebody as well, too. Now, certainly without question, look between a safety and a cornerback. Look for the Giants to address one of those needs without question in the draft. And just a little news flash here, a little a little primer here. I addressed one of those needs in my three-round draft, three-round mock draft, and I addressed it pretty good. So, let's see what we got here, right? Giants should sign his two-time Pro Bowl safety to boost the defense. After losing Xavier McKinney, the Giants have a major need at safety. McKinney, one of the ascending talents at the position across the league, leaves behind a void in the secondary that was wildly inconsistent during a disappointing 2023 season for the New York Giants. Fortunately, the Giants general manager Joe Schoen, there are several marquee veterans available to upgrade what is presently a glaring weakness on the roster. Giants might feel good about Jason Pinnock and Dane Belton. Yeah, okay, we did that right here. New York Giants, best options at safety. Safety market outside Xavier McKinney deal with the Packers seems to have created in 2024, similar to the plight of marquee running backs in 2023. For the Giants, there's plenty of talent available at the position. Now the question is, is what does Shane want to spend, okay, on this group? And once again, we got Justin Simmons, Quandre Diggs, Marcus May, Tashawn Gibson, and Julian Blackmon are all free agents. Is Justin Simmons to the Giants a fit? Interesting. We got Shane and the Giants currently have roughly $8.8 million cap space, which could allow them to go shopping near the top of the market on a veteran player such as Simmons on a one-year prove-it type deal. For the Giants brass, though, it could be a tough sell to a player such as Simmons to sign with a team like New York, who appears far away from contending for a championship. That is one thing. I mean, it's like, you can come in, you probably get some playing time, you got some money and all that, but we're not winning the Super Bowl this year, right? And the other thing is, we'll sign you to a one-year deal. So there's probably no way in HEL double hockey sticks this year you win a Super Bowl. And the next season you're probably gonna sign with somebody else, and hopefully maybe you can play toward a Super Bowl with them. But this season, you'll be playing for money, pride, and all of that and everything. But you'll not be playing for a Super Bowl this season. It says, after all, as Pro Football Focus points out, Simmons held opposing quarterbacks to a meager 85.9 passer rating when targeting him last season and finishing 2023 with 67 total tackles and 3 interceptions. Likewise, Shane Dable and the Giants would be wise to prioritize adding a safety in the early rounds of the NFL draft to solidify a critical position that is in dire need of an overhaul. Now, I got this Justin Simmons here. Okay. Now, once again, he's 30. He'll be 31 in November. Okay. So once again, it's somebody, Boston College, a very good third-round pick, obviously, by the Broncos in 2016. So, so he has a lot of experience. He did very good, graded out of 67.9, according to Pro Football Focus. He's graded out very well. In 2019, he graded out at a 90. Good God. 70.7, 74, 77, 90. But also this here, you got 70, you look at this, 90. Tell me what's going on with these numbers here. Okay. 90, 77, 74, 70, 67. What's going on with those numbers? They're all going down. So now I'm not saying that, this year Simmons is going to wind up plummeting into the abyss and being absolutely horrible. But, maybe his better days are behind him. It depends upon how much money is he looking for. I said, do the Giants want to spend, I don't know, whatever, 6, 7, 8 million? I'm just throwing a number out there. I don't know for sure. On a torch holder or placeholder, right? He's just holding the torch for a year, and then I'm going to pass it off to somebody else, and I'll be gone next year. Do the Giants want to do that? Don't know, right? But he is available. Then you got good old Quandre Diggs here, okay? Now, last season, he graded out at 55, okay? He's 31. He'll be 31 the whole season. By the end of the season, he'll be almost 32. Fantastic 6th-round pick by the Lions in 2015. But once again, he's got a lot of experience there. He's had some good years, 73, 72. He graded 73 here, 71 to 71. Past season with Seattle, he had over 1,100 snaps. You can see the past 4 years he played my goodness, almost 5,000 snaps the past 4 years. I mean, man, a ton of snaps. But last year, graded out of 55. So is his better years behind him, and he's kind of going down? Who knows? Once again, do the Giants want to pay $5, $6, $7, $8 million for somebody who's going to be there maybe just a year? Who knows? But once again, as with Simmons, with Diggs, a veteran presence in the secondary could be huge. Really, really could be huge. Next guy we got here is Marcus Maye. Let's see. He's 30. He just turned 30. Okay. Second round pick by the Jets in 2017. Right. Obviously, he had some injury issues last season. He only graded out of 57. But, that's some nice seasons. 2018 graded out an 80 here, 74 and 82. 2022, he graded a 71. So he's had some good seasons. Last season, injury issues, he 57.6. I said, once again, same thing here. Does Shane want to, pay the safety, somebody, whatever, for a year? You don't know. I said they can certainly address it in the draft. All right, then we got Julian Blackmon. He's this right here. What's Gibson? Yeah, Gibson's be like Gibson's going to be 34 before the season. I mean, but Blackmon, okay. Now this guy here, possibility here, right? 25. Okay, he's only played 4 seasons. All right, he 59, 60, 62, 68. Now with somebody like him, you can certainly see where, I mean, to bring him in, I don't even know if he'd even want to sign a 1-year deal with somebody. I mean, I could see him. This is his chance. He wants to get paid. It's like with Xavier McKinney. Xavier McKinney was a 2nd-round pick, right? He played 4 seasons. He went out. He got paid. Same thing with Julian Blackmon. I can't see Shane just bringing him in for 1 year. Well, we'll give you, and he's young too. Right, so he's probably on his way up. So he's going to want, he ain't getting no Xavier McKinney money, that's for sure. He ain't getting no $17 million, but whatever he was going to get, I mean, I have a hard time seeing he'd want to come in for 1 year. Right, so if Shane would to sign him, it would have to be a multi-year deal. Right, and then we got, I said the last one here is going to be Gibson's going to be 34 on August 7th. Yeah, big veteran presence, right? I mean, look at all the years he's played since 2012. I mean, he's played in 11,350. So if he plays a decent amount of snaps this season, he'll have played in over 12,000 NFL snaps. That's experience. But once again, same thing here. What is he going to cost? I mean, good veteran presence. I mean, he's always had some very good grades here. Last year was a 67, then a 69. He had a 72, a 70, 67, 79. So he's had some very good grades. But with him, 1-year deal. Right? Is that something that Shane wants to do? Is that what, he wants to take $5-6 million or whatever of the money that he has left, put into a veteran safety who's probably going to be here for 1 year? Who knows? As I said, we got Belton, we got Pennock, we got Javarius Owens. I said, we could certainly draft the safety, or after the draft's over, there's going to be a boatload. I'm not saying a boatload of safeties, but a boatload of undrafted free agents that'll be available as well too. And let's not forget, there'll be guys as well after the final cut downs, right? Of course, they don't cut it down the way they used to. They used to go down from 90 after the first preseason game, when it went down to 80 and then down to sell. I mean, it's all or nothing. They cut, but once they go down to the final 53, there's going to be a ton of players out there who'd be looking for a job. So maybe Shane might want to go that route either. But I mean, there's all different. There's different avenues, lots of different avenues that Shane could certainly go down with the safeties. But so as I said, spoiler, that's in my mock draft anyway. That don't mean Jack, MF, and what, according to what Shane and Dable and the Giants are going to do. But in my mock draft that I just did it with PFF, I addressed the safety situation. right? So, all right, then we got, and this next one here, it talks about a big glaring need, or do the Giants have a glaring issue in their secondary? And we can talk. You can talk if you want to talk about safeties as well too. But I mean, we can also talk about cornerback as well. The thing is with the Giants have, they have bodies, right? But one thing they don't really have between safeties, the secondary period, is a lot of veteran presence, right? And that's something they certainly could use, as I said, or they could also wind up, you can't add veteran presence in the draft, but I mean, they can certainly add some good quality talent in the NFL draft. But here we got from Giants Wire. Let's see who wrote this article here. John Finelli. The Giants still have some holes to fill in the roster, but none may be more glaring than in the secondary. As I said, it's the Giants for that. Every team has holes. Every team. It's not just the Giants are the only team that has. Every team's got holes. But what I'm kind of looking at here, okay, because we're going to be competing this season. Hopefully, with the roster is going to get a little bit better. If we're lucky and we get down and we pray to sweet dear baby Jesus, please let us stay healthy this season, and we can actually get some health. Man, that would just be a straight up freaking miracle, wouldn't it? If we could actually stay a little bit healthy, man, wouldn't that be unbelievable? But we're going to be competing this season. But what I'm looking at is, let's see what the roster looks like after next season, next season's draft. We got this draft, we got free agency next season, and then we got next year's draft. Let's see what the roster looks like after next year's draft. All right. Some of those holes might start getting plugged. All right. I said you got 3 nice picks in the top 70 here. Between a safety, a cornerback, defensive line help, we can probably use, throw around all you want, maybe a quarterback, developmental quarterback, whatever. We need a wide receiver. We can use a running back. Now, maybe a boomer, a banger of a running back. Now, I'm not saying we got to get a running back in the second right now. You can take a running back in the 4th or 5th round, right? I mean, especially if you're not looking for somebody who can do it all, but if you can look somebody who has specifics to them, like I said, maybe you're bigger back, right? You can grab somebody in the 4th, 5th round, right? But we can also use a tight end. Somebody after if Waller's gone this season, or after this season Waller's gone, we could use a threatening receiving type of tight end. Maybe not somebody who's going to go out there and block, be a huge part of the game in a blocking department, but somebody like a Brock. Let's say we're going to get a Brock Bowers, but I mean somebody who's a nice threat in the receiving game. Bellinger is nice in the receiving. He's got nice hands. You get the ball to him. He does a very good job of catching the ball, but he's not somebody that keeps defensive coordinators up at nighttime. Oh my God, we're going to triple team Bellinger this week or something. Man, that guy's a killer. I mean, they're not doing that. Bellinger is just a tight end. He can block and he can catch, but he's not like a Waller, right? So, and the thing also I'm trying to look at is like, let's keep. I don't want to say we need a guard. I don't want to say we need this. I don't want to say. Let's see, because we don't know what Evan Neal's doing this season. Is he going to be a tackle or is he going to be a guard? We don't know. We have no idea. We got our center, Michael Schmitz, right? We got Andrew Thomas, right? We brought in Runyon. Hopefully he can be maybe one of the guards. Who knows? With Priscilla in there, maybe he can start working a little bit of his magic. Maybe he can get something out of Joshua Zudo if he can stay healthy, right? Maybe Zudo can be a really good backup or something like that. As I said, we don't know what Evan Neal is. Evan Neal going to bomb out a tackle and we're going to have to move him inside to a guard? Can he stay healthy? As I said, so I don't want to say, well, we got to draft a guard. No, because Evan Neal might wind up going and becoming a guard. So I don't know where we're going here. We got Illuminor. He said to accentuate the E. So we got Jermaine Luminor, who's going to be probably in the beginning battling it out for a guard position. But him and Neal might swap if Neal can't stay healthy, or if Neal starts struggling once again at the right tackle. I might slide Neal in there, or I might put Neal next to Thomas. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But as I said, so I don't want to say we need a guard, we need a tackle, we need on the offensive line. Let's see what Brasillo can do with what he has here. Then after the season's over with, it's like, well, Runyan's not that good. Yeah, he's a whatever. We got Neal. We switched him in. We got Illuminor as a tackle. Michael Schmidt's good. Andrew Time, but Runyan. We need. So that's what I'm saying. So maybe next season it's like, well, we need a guard. So let's see what Brasillo can do with this concoction that he has. I'm stir it up and right. See, can Neal stay healthy? Can Neal be a performer? Can he stay? Can he be a tackle? Can he be a guard? Are they going to put him at punter? What are they going to? Is he going to be a water boy? We have no idea. Where's Illuminor going to wind up being? We don't know. So I just want to, as far as with the offensive line, I want to put that just on hold, just like for this season. Let's see what after the season's over with, after the smoke and the dust clears and settles and all that stuff, and then we can go back and look and say, okay, the offensive line, where was it good and where was it weak? Then we can maybe next season address that in the draft or in free agency. But we should be able to go out. I mean, if this season we went out and we got Burns, we should be able to go out and get ourselves a nice little something in free agency next season as well, too. So I'm saying, so we need a running back who we can certainly draft without question. The 4th round, 5th round, something I'm worried about. We could use a real good receiving tight end, a good wide receiver, a quarterback, maybe a developmental quarterback, unless they're going to go out somehow and they want to get McCarthy or one of those other guys early on. Who knows, right? But we could use a quarterback, wide receiver, and a tight end. We need a defensive lineman. We need a corner back and a safety. So we need 6 guys, right? In the draft here, we got 3 prime picks. Now, out of those 6 guys, 6 spots, we could probably fill with those first 3 picks. 6, 47, and 70. We could probably get 3 guys, and little news flash here. I got 3 guys in my draft, in my mock draft. It just turned out that way. Okay. So that means next season, between free agency and the draft once again, you might need 3 or 4 more holes to fill. Of course, you're going to need depth, right? But, between next year's free agency, if we want to go out and get a little bit of we want to bring somebody in, pay somebody, I don't know, just say we need a cornerback, right? And there's a free agent cornerback out there. We got Banks, and we want to get go out and pay a little bit of money for a cornerback number 2. We can go out and do that, right? If we want to go out and get a top-notch safety next season, we can go out and do that. We should have some money I'm not saying we're going to bring in 13 different guys. I'm not saying we're going to bring in 842 different free agents like the Eagles do, but or did. Or the Commanders did. But like I said, if we want to go out and get ourselves a really good, I don't know what tight ends would be available. I don't know. But if there's a good receiving tight end, right? Maybe the Giants can go out and get something like that. But I'm saying between the draft this season, next year's free agency, and next year's draft, the holes that we have, I mean, I'm not worried. I'm not worried about, we got so many holes. We can't fill them all. I'm not looking at it like that. I'm looking at this season and next season, free agency and draft. Between all of that, then let's sit down after the 2025 draft. Let's sit down and because if after next season's 2025 draft, we still got like 5 or 6 holes on this team, then we got some problems. Right? We got some problems, but let's just take it one day at a time here. Let's see. Giants wanted to trade for edge rusher Brian Burns and pay him more than $28 million per year, which means they have to make cutbacks somewhere. And that's, it was. I mean, you could, it was either, maybe try to go get Burns, okay, and pay him 30, or pay McKinney and Barkley 30. So Shane prioritized the edge rusher over safety and a running back. So It is what it is. You can't have everybody. The NFL does not want it like that. The NFL always wants it where you got holes, problems, and stuff like that. That's what the NFL wants, and that's what the Giants have, right? So, but General Manager Joe Schoen, those cutbacks appear to be in the secondary. New York led its two most prominent defensive backs hit the open market. McKinney, right, became one of the, and of course, Adoree Jackson, who's still unsigned, right? So, I mean, hey, you know, the thing is with you know, don't discount the fact that we might not bring Adoree back. I mean, I doubt it, especially because what he's probably going to want, because he's still young. He was a first-round pick. He's still young. He's not going to want to come in for $6 million a year. That's not happening. So, but don't ever totally discount him. Okay, so we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, but if we were to bring Adoree Jackson back, it would probably be for a couple-year deal. I mean, you can maybe take his cap hit this season, knock it down a little bit, and that way, once again, you'd have your two cornerbacks. Ta-da! So we'll have to wait and see. That's it. Let's not forget, because the Giants can restructure some other guys, right? Salaries, okay, and free up some extra salary cap money as well. And let's not forget also, if Waller were to retire, the Giants are going to save some money, right? So if they can restructure a couple more contracts, I mean, they could restructure, you know, sexy Dexy, but Andrew Thomas, Bobby Okereke, they can restructure some contracts there, save probably maybe an extra $10 million this season, if not more, toward the salary cap. The problem is you're kicking money down the road, right? But you know that if you restructured, you know, all three of those guys' contracts, you would get another 10 or 15, 10, 12 or so million this season in salary cap space. And then if Waller were to retire, between all the restructuring all three of those guys, and if Waller were to retire, we would probably be able to get maybe close to an additional $20 million in cap space this season. So yeah, don't discount that, right? And now the thing is, I'm not sure, you know, let me look this up here real fast here. Shane Bowen. All right. When was he? Was he at Tennessee when Adoree Jackson was there? 2021. Titans, yeah. Outside linebacker, 2018, yeah. So he was there when Adoree Jackson was there. So he's familiar with Adoree Jackson, right? Because where did Adoree Jackson come from? The Titans, right? So Shane Bowen is, you know, they're familiar with one another, okay? As I said, once again, it doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, we're going to bring Adoree Jackson back, especially, you know, if he's going to want, obviously, double digits as far as money, 10 to 15 million, whatever. I'm not exactly sure if Shane wants to do something like that, but we'll have to wait and see. But if he's still not signed, don't discount him. Don't, you know, especially because there is that connection there between Bowen and Adoree Jackson, right? Because they were on the Titans together. So the Giants signed veteran safety Jalen Mills in free agency, and fans are hoping that they are not done adding. Well, then, you know, they might be. I mean, I have to wait and see how much, you know, money that the Giants are willing to free up in the salary cap department. But Mills will be joining Jason Pinnock at safety. A duo Barnwell says is arguably the weakest pair of starting safeties on paper. Yeah, that's true. At quarterback, last year's first-round pick, Deonte Banks, will be one of the starter, while Jackson's role is up for grabs. Right now, I will choose from a group that includes Trey Hawkins III and Nick McLeod. Ouch. Yep. Well, we got Darnay Holmes, right? We got Cordell Flott, who might be in the slot, though. Right? Barnwell points out that there are still many defensive backs still on the market, including Adoree Jackson. Right, and the Giants can still bolster the group with a signing or two. Or, I mean, let's not forget about the draft. Right, I mean, you can get yourself a really good cornerback or safety in the second round, which is newsflash is what I wound up doing in the second round of my mock draft. Right, I would be surprised if they didn't take advantage of the market and add at least one veteran safety, writes Barnwell. And he writes the same thing here. Simmons, Diggs, May, Gibson, and Blackman are all free agents. Adding one of those guys on a one-year deal would bring a veteran into the defensive backs room and help a team that is otherwise set to run out a very young secondary. Big Blue also has 6 selections in the 2024 NFL Draft and will most likely use a pick or 2 on the secondary. Absolutely. Absolutely. Without question. As I said, so, I know it's, I know it's not going to be a strong suit for the Giants as far as the secondary. But, as I said, once again, between this season and next season, let's see what we got, right? Okay, between those two, right? We started adding a guy here, a guy maybe somebody this year in the draft, and maybe somebody else there. You had a couple good quality starters over this year and next year. Now you're starting to change things around, as far as in the secondary. So, but I mean, without question, the Giants could certainly use some help in the secondary, at cornerback and at safety, without question. All right, now then they got the Giants. The off-season schedule has been announced. Oh yeah, here we go. Spring football is right around the corner for the New York Giants, who will report for the start of their off-season program on April 15th, the day after my birthday, at the team's East Rutherford headquarters. Phase 1 of the off-season program, which runs for 2 weeks, starts April 15th and ends April 26th, which is the day after the draft starts, because the draft is the 25th. So, just in time for the draft. This phase compromises activities limited to meetings, strength and conditioning, and physical rehabilitation only. Phase 2, which begins the following week, runs for 3 weeks and consists of on-field workouts and may include individual or group instructions and drills, as well as perfect play drills and drills and plays with offensive players lining up across from offensive players and defensive players lining up across from defensive players, conducted at a walk-through pace. No live contact or team offense versus team defense drills are permitted. Veterans are not permitted on the practice field when teams hold their mandatory rookie minicamps. The Giants have not announced when they will hold the rookie minicamp, but teams may hold it either the weekend after the draft, which would be May 3rd to 5th, or 2 weeks later from May 10th to the 12th. So we'll have to find out about that. That'll be coming up. Phase 3 consists of the next 4 weeks of the program. Teams may conduct a total of 10 days of organized team or OTAs, or organized team practices, or organized team activities. Right? No live contact is permitted, but 7-on-7, 9-on-7, and 11-on-11 drills are permitted. The Giants OTA dates are May 20th to 21st, May 23rd, May 28th to 29th, May 31st, June 3rd to 4th, and June 6th to 7th. Media access is granted for every third workout date. Teams are also allowed to hold one mandatory minicamp. The Giants' minicamp will be held from June 11th to 13th, and the camp will be open to the media. So, even before the beauty of it is even before, they're going to have stuff going on before like the draft, because they were talking about the 25th and the 26th. Well, the draft starts the 25th. So so we got like about, it's less than 4 weeks away is the draft. I mean, it's just crazy, absolutely crazy. But then you'll have like about a month that's off, usually around whatever. It's like June 20th to July 20th, whatever it is. You have that month where there's like nothing going on. Everybody goes home or whatever, right? I guess except for the coaches and all that or whatever. But maybe they do go down, leave as well too. But you have about a month where there's pretty much like nothing going on. But I mean, all the way up until like the middle of June, there's always almost always something going on. almost always something going on. So I did here. What I did was in my mock draft, okay, I said I just did a 3-round mock draft. I didn't go too hog wild crazy because, a lot of times, once you start getting to the 5th, 6th round and all that, I'm just kind of guessing at guys. A lot of these guys, because I don't do what a lot of these other, some of these, the draft gurus and all that, some they know like everybody coming out. The guys from Alcorn State and the guy from Georgia State Tech University School of A&M, A&I, they know all of that stuff. So they know a guy who's in the 5th or 6th round who's a good talent. I don't. I just know a lot of the top upper echelon names, and that's pretty much about it. If I'm to find out about any of these other guys, I listen to those draft gurus, listen to them talk. But as of right now, I just tried to do like a 3-round mock draft and try to hit, some of the heavy spots where the Giants really need, some areas the Giants really need to address. And I'll tell you what, the board fell rather well. I mean, my first guy, okay, is, the guys that were available was Alt, and I can't remember if there was a quarterback there or not. I can't remember. But Alt was available, and Dunze was there. So with my mock draft, I had to go Rome Dunze. We don't need Alt. Download New York copy image. Is this here? My first round mock draft. Okay. Oh, here we go. Look at this. Is this crazy or what? Harrison Jr. went to the Patriots. Brock Bowers, right? So just to go to show you, McCarthy was on the board. Alt went number 10 to the Jets. Jaden Daniels went to number 12. So at the time that I had a chance to draft, I could have drafted McCarthy, Daniels, Brock Bowers. Oh, no, he was off the board. Dunze, the edge rusher there, the cornerback, another edge rusher here. But, Alt, so actually when I drafted, all right, at pick 6, McCarthy and Daniels were both on the board. Now, according to this draft here, just basically what it was I went by, a lot of it was by team needs, okay? So here we got the Bears. They took Caleb Williams, right? The second pick, the Commanders took Drake May. Marvin Harrison Jr. went 3. Malik Neighbors went 4. And good old Harbaugh took Brock Bowers, the tight end. I thought he would take a tackle, but I mean, could you imagine? Could you imagine at this rate, if instead of him taking Brock Bowers, he took a Dunze? That would have meant in this draft at this rate right here, all three of those wide receivers would have been off the board by pick 6. But the Giants could have had their pick of Jaden Daniels or McCarthy or Bowers or Alt, so they still could have gotten themselves a nice stud, or they could have maybe traded back. But as you see here, wasn't any trades. Okay, it was just basically based on the team's needs. Okay, so the Giants, why not with Rome Dunze? Okay, so go to second. Let's see here. Okay, come back to this. Okay, so let's. I'm not sure. How do I get to the second round here? Can I get to the second round and show you? Draft now? No. Yeah, no. I'm not exactly. I guess I can't show the second round. Who was there? I guess not. Oh well, is what it is, right? So what we got here? Full. Here we go. Your results. Full results. Here we go. Okay. All right. So in the second round, what I took Javon Bullard. Right now, he was a safety. Okay, with Georgia. You know how the Giants love their Georgia guys, right? So, he graded out very well. According to PFF, he graded out this past season 82.8. Now, he played 3 seasons. Of course, Georgia, they have a phenomenal freaking defense. If you're playing defense for the Georgia Bulldogs, you are a freaking stud. Right? Now, you look here, 2022, he graded out here in an 80.4. His first season, 2021, he only played 138 snaps, but 70.4. Okay, it looks like he might have missed a little bit of time here. I'm not sure if he had injuries or not. Then I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He played in 12 games. So he must have missed a game or two, right? But he graded overall 82.8. His coverage grade 88.4. His tackling 78.4. Very, very good. Very, very good. So so in the right. So in the second round, I got the Giants. They took Javon Bullard, right, from Georgia, but a safety. Okay, so now they got Javarius Owens, who they drafted last season, right? We got Belton, we got Javarius Owens, we got Pinnock, and then we got Bullard, right? So they drafted, just the way the board fell here, right? This is the guy I took in the second round. So they addressed their safety concerns, right? So they filled wide receiver. They got themselves a safety. Okay, they're not going to. I'm saying after this, I'm not saying we have the greatest tandem of safeties in the NFL, not even close. Okay, but we added a good quality safety in the second round. Let's not forget, right? Xavier McKinney, Landon Collins, second round picks, right? We had solid safeties we drafted in the second round. So what did we do? In the second round here, we drafted what? A safety. Should be a very good, solid pick for the Giants for years to come. You don't know if they're going to do the same thing with Collins and McKinney, let them play 4 seasons and then just let them go, sign someplace else or not. That you don't know. But I'm saying with Bullard here, they drafted him. If Shane's still around in 4 years, they draft him, develop him, and not want to pay him. But I mean, without question, they add him in the second round. That checks off one of the boxes. They don't no longer have a huge hole or huge need at safety. After the draft's over with, you can bring in some undrafted free agents or whatever like that to maybe compete for a spot or something like that. But if you were to draft this guy, somebody like him in the second round, your need for a safety is off the board. You don't need it. As I said, we don't have the greatest safeties in the world, but there's no glaring hole at safety. All right. So that would check something off. So in the first round, I got our stud number 1 wide receiver off the board, right? Check that off, right? Then we grab the safety in the second round off the board. And I'll tell you what, when I saw in the third round, right? Oh, I got Bullard there. I said he's very, very good. But then I'll tell you what, when I saw the Rattle Man in the third round here, Spencer Rattler, I had to pick him, right? Because that fills out so now the Giants have, I mean, it's huge. I mean, you got Daniel Jones, we got Drew Lock, who knows? I mean, if you got a quarterback whisperer, maybe he can elevate Lock a little bit. I'm not saying he's going to be Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes, but maybe he can elevate him, right? Who knows, right? We'll have to wait and see. But I said with Spencer Rattler, he's somebody who can sit on the sideline for a year or something like that. Maybe, Dable can, whisper, the quarterback whisperer, right? Develop him, and maybe in a year or so, unleash him and see where it goes. But, if the Giants are going to add a quarterback in the draft, right, that checks off another box that they don't need a quarterback. I mean, once again, I'm not saying that Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, or Spencer Rattler are the answers, but, right, they drafted themselves a developmental quarterback, right, and who sits a year, maybe 2, whatever like that, maybe in a year or 2, they can unleash him and see where he goes, especially if Dable can get his hands on him and work his magic with him, right? So I had a hard time passing on, without question, had a hard time passing on the Spencer Rattler there. Now, there's obviously a bunch of other guys. There was, there's a nice cornerback. There are edge players here, defensive linemen, But I thought within the first three rounds, right, I drafted a wide receiver, a safety, and a quarterback. Now, what I did, is it going to show? Nope. It was going to, does it show the grade? So, nope. But I think I think, if I remember correctly, I think my grade for Spencer Rattler was an A. Bullard, I think my grade for him was a B plus, and Rome Odunze was an A. So between the three, I got an A, a B plus, and an A. So I said, between the three huge holes that the Giants have. I mean, obviously the backup quarterback is not a huge hole. It is, but it isn't. Because a backup quarterback is not something, we're not plugging and playing. You're not plugging in a need on a starting role, right? But we need maybe a backup quarterback, maybe for the future, somebody the developmental guy. So that was a huge hole. So what I did was, as I said, my 3 picks in the draft just wind up coming out really, really, very, very happy with that. The only thing I'm a little bummed out, I would have liked to maybe get in the second round, maybe a defensive lineman. I would like to really fortify that front wall there. Right? Forget Azeez Ojulari coming in from spots, but we got Burns, Kayvon, and Sexy Dexy. I said, if we get another stud next to Sexy Dexy in the second round or something like that, really fortify that front wall, that would be freaking great. I said, but on the defensive side, the Giants need a cornerback, safety, and a defensive lineman. So I said, between this season and next season, right, hopefully we can fill all 3 of those holes. But I said in my mock draft, I'll do another one before the draft actually starts in 4 weeks from now. But in my one mock draft, I marked off one of those. I got ourselves a pretty much by a starting safety. So it worked out pretty good. All right, guys. Well, it's been 1 hour and 9 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you, thank you, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time listening to the replay, this once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you as always. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.